Welcome to day 142 of our BitClout journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my brother Brian. And there really isn't too much news today. I think people are anticipating Monday's changes and Monday's NFT showcase. I suspect there's going to be some other news next week too. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it seems like we're heading in that direction. Overall, NFTs have kind of slowed down. What do you think is the reason for that?
Yeah, so I mean, if you check the feed of all the new NFTs being minted and bids on NFTs, it's the activity is way down from like a week or two ago. But I think that's natural. I think that the market's kind of like trying to figure itself out, the supply and demand. I think initially we saw a lot of excitement and people wanted to get those first NFTs by some of these big artists and some of these series like Cloudpunk or Illuminati, and they rushed in. And not to say that these big series aren't fetching a lot of money right now, but I think that there was an oversupply. Everybody tried NFTing everything, and it kind of drowned out some of the better stuff. And I also think that maybe the demand is kind of waning just because people are waiting to see how the market kind of settles out. They don't want to overpay for something. But I think that once we get more people on board, and once Coinbase is added, I think people are going to get more confident over the NFT market, and we'll see that pick back up, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's probably frustrating for some people who saw that initial surge and now they're not making as many sales.
I mean, it's kind of like a microeconomic replication of NFTs in general. If you go back to March, NFTs were really flourishing on OpenSea and Rarible and basically every other marketplace, and then they crashed. And like it just people weren't buying them, and people weren't, it was just an saturation, like you said. But now you see NFTs in general are really starting to pick up a lot, and they're almost at where they were in March, if not there already. So I think you're going to see the ups and downs, just like any market. Like people get really excited at first, and then it's like, okay, what am I doing? There's so many NFTs out here. Am I buying the right ones? So
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'd say it's probably like, I'm not, this isn't investment advice, but if you think BitClout is going to be a success and gradually over the next several months and years, it's going to increase in adoption rate, I think this is like the perfect time to try and bargain hunt for some of those first NFTs. I think a lot of the NFT, like we went after a lot of the NFTs from artists we think are going to make it big on this platform, but we went after like number one or number two. And I think that if you do that and you try and focus on the artists you think are going to be here for the long run, when this does rebound and when BitClout does become a success, if it becomes a massive success, you're going to really make out. So it's an investment, it's a gamble, but you should be buying NFTs based on how you think the whole platform is going to do, because if BitClout succeeds, then these NFTs are going to have.
Well, everybody's different too. Some people are on the platform buying NFTs because they're speculating that they're going to hold value in the long run or increase in value in the long run. Others are just buying them because they like the art. And there's not a right or wrong way to go about doing this. There are a lot of art collectors out there, and there are a lot of speculators out there. And it's like we're kind of seeing the two merge. And then there's these artists who are just trying to, get as much as they can for their art. And then there's artists who are just like, I'm going to mint it. And if somebody buys it, somebody buys it. If not, it's, I'm fine with that. So there's a lot of different opinions, a lot of different types of mindsets. And there's not a right way or a wrong way. There's just your way, I think.
Yeah, and I do think you're right there. I think there are people that just collect, but I also think that people that collect art that they really love, they want to have the peace of mind that if they do ever resell it or their family resells it, that's going to hold its value. So I think that there's that mixture where you want to collect this awesome piece, but if you're going to pay $3,000 for it, you want to know that it's not going to be worth 30 in 2 years, or at least have a good inclination.
Well, and I mean, every piece of art you see isn't really awesome. There's a lot of art on here that it's just like people trying to see if they can make money off of, putting a few lines on pieces of paper. And then there's, like there's like Cloudpunk. I'm not saying that's not good art, but it's like, you're paying for 8-bit, like 8-bit drawings, which are holding value just because people think they'll have future value, which is interesting. And we bought a lot of Cloudpunks. So that's definitely not an insult to Cloudpunk. I think what they're doing, it's awesome. I think it was such a brilliant idea, and they got in they were like the very first to do it hundreds of days ago before NFTs were on the platform. So they were really thinking ahead, and that's why the Cloudpunk are so valuable, because people view them sort of as like the first native NFTs to BitClout.
Yeah, and I think that with Cloudpunk, I think it's more than just the art. It's the fact that they've been so early and they're so consistent. I mean, they've been doing this for, like you said, probably 3 or 4 months now. And I actually remember when they came about and we bought their coin because we thought it was such a great idea. And it turned out it was a good idea. And I don't know if they knew NFTs were coming at that time or not, but they certainly, I think they certainly had the foresight.
And I mean, there's plenty of great projects out there, and there's plenty of great artists too that aren't getting enough recognition. There's just a lot of great stuff out there.
Yeah, there's Illuminati's doing awesome things. Clay Oglesby. I mean, like there's a laundry list of like really well known artists from other platforms.
Yeah, Izzy's doing a really good job. Savarina, I hope I'm saying that right. She's doing really good art. There's just a lot of good art out there, and it's hard. Like the way the platform's set up right now, it's very hard to discover art. Like you have to be following a person, or that art has to show up in global feed or the showcase. And if it's not priced high, it's not going to show up high in the showcase. So you have to do a lot of scrolling. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done as far as NFT discovery goes, whether it's going to be on BitClout.com itself or other nodes that kind of act as NFT marketplaces. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be the latter rather than the former, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I think a lot of collectors want to be able to show off their work, and the current setup, it doesn't really do that. Sure, you can go to somebody's profile and click on their gallery, but it's just a list, and it's in ordered in not really any really great order. You just have to keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to see what they have. So I think like a big splash page where you can kind of set up different pieces you own in different areas and just show them off. I think that's going to help, because collectors are going to want to say, hey, look at my showcase, look at what I have. And then maybe be able to place like a bid on it, maybe be able to make an offer on a piece if you like it. So you like display all the work you own and then take bids if you want, or take offers.
Yeah, I think in time all that's going to come, whether it's through BitClout.com, like I said, other marketplaces that emerge. I think that's
I know there's supernovas. I know there's a couple other nodes that are seemingly working with them, so we'll see.
Yeah, so I think that's a good place to leave off. I think this weekend's going to be kind of slow just because all the news is going to be, all the events on BitClout are going to be taking place on Monday and after, I think. So we'll see how things materialize next week.